Hi friends, I'm Victoria and welcome back to my channel. Today we have another reading vlog. So I think I'm reading kind of a variety of stuff, some fantasy, some spooky horror stuff. We're just gonna see how it goes. I have just started The First Bright Thing by J.R. Dawson. It's a new release, it's fantasy. There's basically a circus, and in the circus there are all these people with special powers. It's called They Have the Spark. Not everyone has the spark, but certain people do, and it seems that it's people that have some sort of connection to the Great War. And it is a historical fiction, so we are around that area, but our main character can time travel. Her name's Rin. She's the ringmaster, and she can time travel. And early on, we find out that she sees someone in the crowd at their circus, and she's like, oh no, it's him. But Rin, at one point, had, I don't know if partner is the right word, but she was involved with a man who seems that he also had a spark, but he was a very bad person, and she successfully faked her death and then time traveled to another time, and now she's grown a life with these other people. She has a wife, and she's ringmaster of the circus that travels. So she sees the man that she left. He has found out that she is in fact not dead, and he hasn't done anything yet, but he, I guess, is still trying to track them down. Once they saw him, they quickly moved where the circus was, and they also did a little bit of time traveling. And when they did that, because they were trying to find out what was going on with this person that was following them, they time traveled into a time that was at war. Like, they time traveled straight into a war, and all the people from the circus were involved in the war, and like in the battle that was going on at that time that they time traveled to. So now they are concerned and worried that there's going to be another war. It's right after the Great War, so some of them are like, we need to do something to make sure this war doesn't happen. So there's that aspect of it, and then they're also trying to stay away from this bad guy. We're switching between timelines, one, but also between Rin's point of view and her story, and then also to another man's point of view. And I don't know for sure if it's like the bad guy that's following her or what. Like, that's what I'm assuming. He was in the Great War, and he has a spark where he can basically tell people what to do, almost like just like totally say something to them and it changes their mind and what they do. Very much like the One Sister in the Umbrella Academy, kind of like that thing. Not too bad. It's okay so far, and I will update y'all later. It's 3 p.m. now on Saturday. I have a birthday party at 6 p.m. that I have to go to. This book is, I wouldn't say it's long, but it is longer. I think it's like 13-14 hours, so I'm hoping to finish it this weekend, and then I'll keep on going with a blog, and I am most definitely going to read something spooky next. I'm thinking Burn the Negative, but we'll see. I finished Sisters of a Lost Nation this morning, and I'm sure in my August wrap up I'll go into what I thought about that. I liked it though. And I went to a yoga class, Yoga Sculpt, and made some lunch. Chopped a ton of veggies because we had so much veggies from the farmer's market last week. We also saw The Voyage of the Last Demeter. The Last Voyage of the Demeter last night. I liked it. I have never read Dracula. It's always like one of those that's on my list, and I just don't prioritize it just because there's so many new releases I want to read, and a lot of those books feel a bit dated, now, which is fine. I mean, but they're classic anyway. But it's based off of one chapter in Dracula called The Captain's Log, and the movie is basically almost all on a ship. It's about Dracula is in a crate on the ship, and people start disappearing, stuff starts going down. Dracula is taking all of them out, and it's pretty good. I really enjoyed the atmosphere. The acting was great. There was this kid in it, and he was such a good actor. I was shocked because, I don't know, sometimes child actors can be like the make or break aspect of any movie. Like, if the child actor's bad, I'm like, oh no, it ruins it for me. It really takes away from the film. But yeah, the acting was really good in this. The story was good. Do I think that people made dumb decisions? For sure. I do think that like they could have done something else, but obviously I think that they probably stay true to what happens in the book, so that makes sense. But I liked it. It was good. It's not my favorite thing ever. I'm glad I saw it though, and it definitely has some good creepy atmosphere if you're looking for that. Little book update. I stumbled upon this girl who has this spark where she was like throwing fire out of her hands, creating a tornado with the earth around her, like really intense skills. And she was also with her little brother. I don't think her brother has a spark yet, or not one that I've seen at least, but these kids are special. They're at the circus tonight, and they wanted to speak to the ringmaster and like see if they can get involved with the circus because they are special and have sparks too. So just a little update there because I feel like that's gonna be important going in. But yeah, pretty standard. I feel like nothing crazy as far as like a circus kind of fantasy book so far. But yeah, I'll update y'all a little bit later. Hi friends, it's Sunday night now, and I just finished The First Bright Thing, and I liked it. I thought it was good. Was it my favorite thing ever? No. I'm gonna give it 3 stars. Essentially, it turns out to be kind of like the Night Circus meets Umbrella Academy. Like the sparks that these people have are very similar to the skills that the Umbrella Academy has, so I kind of thought that was funny. Like there's time travel, people can control minds or tell people what to do basically. And when I talked to you last, there was these 2 kids. It turns out they both do have sparks. They joined the circus. There's lots of layers here, but they're trying to, and they see more war in the future, and Rin, the ringmaster, is really wanting to see what they can do to change that. And that's kind of like a weird plot point to me because it's also like, how can you like stop a war? And also there's just gonna be another war. Like that's how the world works, and I hate it, but people suck and world leaders suck. So, you know, that was kind of weird. And then we're also like having weird connection to this other ringmaster or circus master, and we're hearing from his timeline as well. I feel like it's pretty much assumed that his story involves Rin, and we're jumping back and forth between both of their POVs and then also jumping from multiple timelines. It can be a little bit confusing, especially whenever I was listening to the audiobook while I was like cleaning or like going on a walk. Each chapter, it would tell you like what year it was and stuff and whose POV it was, so had to pay super close attention to that. But my issue with it was that I really did not feel like the stakes were high at all the whole time. And there was this whole thing with them wanting to stop the war. I felt like that was just silly because how can you do that? Like even if you can time travel and stuff, what are you going to do to stop the war? I don't know. Like you can't stop World War II. Like there's so many different aspects that led to it, you know? So I had an issue with that. I like the characters okay. I like the sapphic romance. It's really a story of found family, which is sweet, and I typically do enjoy that trope when it comes to books and movies and all the things. So I did like that, and I like the characters pretty well. So it's okay. I gave it 3 stars, just not my favorite. If you love the Night Circus, I would definitely give this a try. The Night Circus wasn't my favorite in the first place, so I think I gave it like 4 stars or something, or like 3.5. So yeah, but give it a try. You might like it more, especially if you like fantasy and like the circus feel, because it's definitely there. So yeah, I am now reading Burn the Negative by Josh Winning, and I'm like 10% in, and I'm so happy to say that it's so good so far. Like, already so many spooky things have happened. So this one is another cursed film book, and compared to Silver Nitrate that I just read last week and will be in a reading vlog, this is already so much better. So if you're going to pick between one or the other when it comes to a cursed film book, definitely I would already say go with this one, because so much has happened. And there is basically this film that was that came out in the 90s, and it was filmed in 1993, and then 8 people from the film had passed away either during filming or years later. It's almost like a Final Destination kind of thing, where it's not like they were killed right off the bat, but they were killed throughout the years up until 1998, and then they were all killed in similar ways that certain characters were killed in the film. So there's like a parallel there that I think is really interesting. And our main character, she was the child star in this film. And after she filmed that movie, it was called The Guest House, but after she filmed that and all these deaths started to happen, their family actually moved to London, and she grew up in London and changed her name because this movie was like legend. They couldn't get away from the story and the paparazzi, so her family moved to London, where her dad was actually from. He immigrated to the US from there, so they moved back to London with him. And she has changed her name, has a new life, grew up as a totally different person, and no one really knows who she is except for her family. And she is a journalist, and she has been working on different articles within film, entertainment, that kind of thing for a magazine. And she has been put on assignment by her boss and did not know that this film was actually going to be a reboot of The Guest House. So the new film is going to be called, I think it's It Feeds. And so, you know, it's like the same thing in Hollywood. Everything's like regurgitated and rebooted. And I think that she wants to believe that everything that happened prior was just coincidence, or that's kind of what it seems, but it does seem that it was super traumatic for her. So, but she is going to stay. Right now, it's only for a couple of days that she's there to interview everyone, get the scoop on the filming and the reboot. Already, there's so many things that have happened, like spooky stuff. I'm pleasantly surprised by that, because after Silver Nitrate, I was like, if this is another like slow burn, nothing happens, there's nothing scary, I'm gonna be so bummed, because I'm really wanting like one of these cursed film books to work out and be effective. There's also Magic Mike. Oh my God, could you imagine? Mr. Magic that is out, that just came out. I will be reading this month, and that's another cursed film book. So I'll let you know what I think about all of these and which ones I think are worth your time, or if you only want to read like one cursed film novel, like I'll give you the lowdown on what is worth it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say Silver Nitrate is not. If you watched my other vlog, I was super disappointed by it. But this one so far is really good, and I have high hopes. It's also kind of funny because it's putting in like different medias into it. So we're hearing like the main story and the POV of our main character. We're hearing her point of view, but then we're also getting like snippets of different like articles and forums online and different things talking about The Guest House, the original movie. And I think that's super clever. And, you know, there's like little snippets of people being like commenting on certain articles and wondering, you know, where has the child star ended up? Like, where is she now? If she's alive, like people talking about how they shouldn't reboot the movie because, you know, those were people's lives and it's messed up. They shouldn't reboot it. And it's really interesting to have those snippets in there and to see like comments and like just how commentary online and in the media space is revolving around that movie. So the original movie. So I really like that. I'll give you an update later once I've read some more, and I hope it keeps up with this. I am super happy to say I'm liking it so far a lot. Yay. Okay, bye. Hi friends. Okay, so it's Monday morning now. I got 60% into Burn the Negative last night and I am still loving it. It's so good. It definitely has some creepy vibes. I wouldn't say I'm scared exactly, but I don't get scared very easily, and it's probably the most like creeped out I've been in a minute with a movie. There's just been like so many things going on. I am going to be mostly vague with the rest of what I'm talking about when it comes to this book because I do not want to give anything away, and I think that's probably really important with this book. But essentially, last I had spoken with you all, I had talked about how she is in LA to review this book and write an editorial about, or this movie and write an editorial about it. And you know, she goes to the set, meets people, creepy things start happening, and then something happens to where there is an accident, and the cops basically said that she can't leave because she is a main witness. So she is stuck in LA and she can't go anywhere. Some of these characters involved and, you know, people around her are trying to help to figure out what's going on. Is there a curse? Is it supernatural? Is it a ghost? Is there just a slasher messing with all of them? I mean, messing's worse. Like, that's a serial killer, but yeah, I mean, like a serial killer after them all, or like what's going on? And I truly don't know. And it's kind of going into different aspects of it. Like, is there something mental here? Is it a curse? Ghosts? I don't know. I am just loving it, and I am so thrilled to say that this has been so good so far, and definitely has the creepy vibes. If you are looking for something a little bit spooky, go for this. I am super satisfied with how much horror has been in it so far. Literally within like a few pages, like creepy things were happening, and I love that. I love that for us. Okay, yeah, it's so good, and I just hope that the ending is not silly or tropey, like, because I want to find out what's going on. So I'm having high hopes, and I will update you later. I'm hoping to finish it today so I can start a different book tonight and finish that one so I can wrap up this reading vlog to have it up by Thursday. Hi friends, it is Monday evening. It is 8 p.m. and I just finished Burn the Negative, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was such a good time, so fast-paced. There are a lot of twisty moments in it, and it definitely has a spooky, creepy feel. There were definitely parts that I'm like, oh, that's scary, and I was taken by surprise by that. Towards the end, there are a few parts that I had a little bit issue with, like almost cliche kind of things, but overall the ending was unique and went somewhere that I didn't think it was going to go. I thought things were going to wrap up one way and they did not, and I really enjoyed the very end and how it ended, and very satisfied by that. And I think it was definitely fun and unique to end it that way. I love the aspects of this where it's like very much an ode to horror and like classic horror as well, and horror fans. I loved how it included different articles and posts and stuff within about the characters, the movie, and as well as just other aspects of film, and I thought that was super fun. And I liked our characters in this. I thought there were some decent deaths in here as well, and there are a lot of parallels that it's making, and I love the nod to kind of like child star trauma as well, and I just really enjoyed it. I had such a fun time. I am a little conflicted on what rating to give it. I might give it 4.5. I don't think it deserves a 5, but I'm also kind of leaning at 4. So, but I had such fun reading it, and it just made me really excited. But I think I'm gonna go with 4.5 and leave it at that for now, because I had such a fun time, and it was just a great time reading this, and I was actually a little spooked, and that rarely happens with me. So even for that alone, I am happy to give it a good rating. But definitely so far my favorite curse film book I have read, and way better than Silver Nitrate. So yeah, there's that. I was looking at the reviews on Goodreads, and it looks like it's a very split on what people think. So some people are hating this and some people are loving it, and I am on the loving spectrum. If you want some creepy vibes and to be spooked a little bit, read this at night. Do it. I loved the Needleman villain in here that's from the OG movie, and you know, the villain of The Guest House and the new film It Feeds. I love the idea of this villain, and I thought it was just executed really well. I had such a great time. Yay, I'm so happy. I'm like super happy. It's been a minute since I've been a little bit creeped out by a book. I wouldn't say scared, but it definitely was creepy. Yeah, I will update you in a little bit and let you know what I'm going to start now. Because I don't know what it is. Whatever's due next on Libby, that's what it's going to be. Hi friends. Okay, so it is Tuesday evening now, and today I went and looked at some Halloween decor. It was great. I had such a fun time, and I found a couple of my wish list items, so very excited about that. But I started The Guest by Emma Cline, and so far I'm really liking it. It's supposed to just be like a general like contemporary fiction, but I think that it is reading kind of like a thriller, almost in the sense that there's so much like tenseness, like it's so tense. I'm truly concerned about what's going on with this person. So yeah, it's really interesting because I know it's not technically a thriller, but it is kind of reading like it. But it's about this woman, Alex, and she's 22. She lost her job at a restaurant. She has back pay on her rent, and her roommates all hate her. She's kind of having like some issues with drugs, it seems like. And then she was also dating a guy who sounds horrible and like a mess, and he just like went away for the longest time, and then he comes back, thinks that she has done some things with other people or messed around, and there's multiple reasons why, but like he's kind of coming after her, and so she can't stay with him. Her roommates, like, she can't stay there anymore. And it's a big old mess, and she's basically at this point like houseless. Like, she does not have a home to go back to. She meets this guy, and it is definitely like a sugar baby situation. He invites her to Long Island to stay with him, spend a few weeks, I guess. I don't know how long he intended it to be, but she's like, oh, perfect. I have nowhere to stay. But of course she's like lying and saying that she has her own place and everything like that, and acting like everything's normal with her, but it's really not. And you know, it really starts going through at the beginning her relationship with this man, how he's like gifting her stuff and like the full like sugar baby experience, but she keeps making bad decisions, and she keeps taking things to the limit. She's not really paying attention to the situation that she's in right now, because you would think, you know, you don't have a home currently or an apartment or anything like that, and you're kind of on the run from this other guy who seems scary, frankly. And we don't know like the full story with this dude, but he seems like he could come after her, and I just don't like the idea. That it sounds sketch. And so she's basically on the run too. So she keeps pushing things to the limit, and she does something that pisses off the sugar daddy, and he kicks her out. So she is like, what am I gonna do? I don't have a home to go back to, and it's a big old mess. So she is basically in Long Island, has no car, hardly any money, no job, no place to go back to, nowhere to sleep. And you know, we just see her hopping around Long Island, just surviving. And it's like the end of August, and like Labor Day weekend. She's waiting. In her brain, she thinks that she will be able to like get back into her sugar daddy's good graces, and she believes like once he has his like Labor Day party that he'll miss her, want her to come back, and them to like be together. So that's what she's waiting for. So she's decided to just hang out in Long Island until that party, and that's a week from the day that I kicked her out. So we're just watching her struggle, basically. She is breaking laws, stealing, lying, cheating, just like making her way through all these people's lives and like trying to like swindle her way into like having places to stay and having people like pay for things for her. And it's actually pretty impressive how she's doing these things and getting away with it. But there's so much like suspense about when is she gonna get caught? Because in my brain I'm like, you can't just keep doing this. And also like everything's awful. Like I don't understand. I don't understand. So it's really interesting and kind of wild. It's not supposed to be a thriller at all, but it is feeling like a little bit suspenseful, and it's just like intense. Like I am worried about her and I just don't know how this could end in a good way. And also it's just like a woman alone without a home, just kind of like doing whatever she can to have a place to sleep. Like that's just dangerous. Like it's just so dangerous. So I'm hoping nothing bad happens to her, but I'm also just like, how are you gonna get away with this outside of like the dangerous area of this? Like how are you gonna keep getting away with this? Now it is just a week, so I don't know, but I am almost 60% in now, and it's just so much stuff has gone down, and the ideas that she has had and the things that she comes up with is truly impressive. And you know, she is definitely smart in what she does, but also like not, because I'm like, you keep ruining things that could be good and work out for you if you just didn't take things to the max. And that's frustrating. But yeah, it's very interesting. There's definitely like a bit of commentary on like the ultra wealthy and rich people and society and how people view different classes, and I think that's interesting. But I am liking it so far. Emma Cline, her other book, The Girls, I thought was okay. I think I gave it 3 stars, but it wasn't my favorite, and it was kind of slow for me. It also was about cults and like this young girl that like gets into a cult, very like Manson family-esque kind of situation. And I thought it was okay. It just didn't feel super unique. But this one I am liking way better, and I just really like this story of a woman, you know, using everything that she can to like get her way and get around and survive. I find it really interesting. Insert in some Halloween decor hunting stuff. Like some of it's from World Market. They had some such cute Halloween stuff. I was really excited to see it because the last time I went, they didn't have really much of anything that was Halloween, just a couple like fall-y things. And then at Marshall's, I found one of my wish list items, and I'm so excited. Have some dinner, and I'll put in some Halloween decor hunting clips, and I will check back in when I'm done with the guest. is, okay, so it is Wednesday morning now, and I just finished The Guest. Last night I just ended up not reading at all. I just hung out, went to bed, and watched The Office for a little bit. So didn't finish the book last night like I anticipated, but I finished it this morning. It is 10 a.m. now, and wow, I have to say I do really like this book. A little bit slow in the like 75%-ish mark. There was a bit where I was like, okay, this is kind of repetitive, but that's okay. You know, that I feel like that happens to me a lot. I kind of get or I don't know if it's like happens to me, or if it's like an issue with a lot of books, but I do feel like a lot of times I'm like, oh, it got a little bit repetitive or boring, like, or slow, like 3/4 of the way through. But I am so surprised with this book because it was just totally different than what I anticipated. The suspense is for sure there. It's giving like thriller, but like slow burn, really building up the intensity and like the mystery of it and like what's gonna happen. And I was shocked by that because it's not marketed like that at all. And this girl is just such a hot mess, and you feel like, I feel bad for her, but then it's hard because she just makes the worst decisions ever. And I mean, she's very much supposed to be a character that you do not like. Like, you're not supposed to like our protagonist, if she can even be called that. But yeah, she is just a mess, and she keeps making these horrible decisions, and that's why it's hard to feel bad for her. Because at first I understand how someone could get into this position that she's in. I definitely can understand that. And also, like, I totally understand and support people that are in consensual, like, sugar baby, sugar daddy relationships. Like, that's fine. But then she just keeps ruining everything. Like, any good thing that comes to her, she messes it up. It's so interesting how I don't know if she is aware or not of like the bad decisions she's making, or if she like feels like her life is such a train wreck, like she just keeps like self-destructing. I don't know, I'm not sure, but it's a hot mess. And then it also shows like when people are in this like desperate area in their life or mindset, then they attract people like that too, and it's just like a downward spiral and a never-ending spiral. And how do you get out of that hole once you're in it? You know what I mean? And of course she's dealing with drugs. And then I talked about how she's running from that guy, and she had stolen all this money from him, and he's like after her, and it's scary. And that aspect of it is scary. Can't imagine being in her shoes, because it gave me anxiety reading some of this, because it was just the positions she was putting her in are things that like no one should do, especially not a woman. And it's really sad and scary. And it had, I don't know if a guy could read this and feel kind of the same way, because as a woman reading this, I was like, oh my God, this is so dangerous. This is so dangerous. And it definitely is scary. And the ending is good. The ending is a bit of a cliffhanger, I will say, but I think that I like that. It kind of leaves it to where you can interpret what you think it is. I definitely have an opinion on what I think happened, because there's like a few ways it could go, but it's just like, wow, this woman is destroying herself, and she's just leaving like a path of disaster. And wow, and some of the decisions she makes, it was so hard to read, but like in a good way, you know, like I wanted to see what was going to happen to her. And I'm impressed with this book. I think I will give it 4 stars actually. And I liked it so much better than The Girls by her. And I think that it's a really important story about like one thing can go wrong and then it spirals out of control, or you like start taking pills and then your whole life is upended kind of thing. And which is so sad, but it's an important story to tell. And I haven't read a book about something like this, like in the similar vein at all. Like the premise here of her just like wandering and surviving is very different than anything I've read, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So please pick this up. It definitely, I wouldn't say it's like scary at all, no, but it has this like weird tension throughout, and it like is anxiety inducing and just really keeps you on edge. That's the end of this reading vlog. I want to say thank you so much. If you have watched this and watched this far, that means a lot to me. I am new to YouTube, so if you would like to like this video and subscribe, that would be awesome and help me so much. I do lots of reading vlogs, TBRs, wrap-ups, as well as just like videos about books and things in that arena. And it is about to be spooky season, so I'm gonna have a lot of spooky, fun fall videos coming up, and with some really great recommendations, as well as like my wish list reads. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, if you have any questions or recommendations, please put them below. I would love to chat. And I hope you have a beautiful day. And thank you so much again.